and I am passionate about gender, and I'm also passionate about the law.
Background yourself with this domestic violence.
We can be equal, we can coexist.
That is directed towards men.
How men, especially young boys, have been victims of gender-based violence. Take the matter up and actually complain on your own. I can't speak with that much conviction when I speak about a man's case, but I can speak with that conviction when I'm speaking about the female side of the story.
Gender-based violence is actually something that is not not much qualitative research has been done on the same.
One, I will admit, there is no enough research because most of the time gender-based violence is intimate.
Back to now our topic again, gender-based violence. In the same article that I had mentioned to you earlier, it also says that the law does not really assist them, in the sense that it doesn't work for you when you go and complain that you've been, like you said, sometimes when you say you're not prepared with a camera to show that you've been attacked, or stay on standby to record a moment where there's evidence to show that, oh, this is what happened, can you please protect me? Or in this aspect, do you think the law, and most especially our law enforcement people, the police, if I go and report as a woman that I have been attacked or something has happened to me, what do you think? Because in this article, it mentions how it is a possibility that the disregard for what you come and tell them encourages the situation, in the sense that I will go back home because nobody believes me, and I believe, okay, I can't be helped. Do you think the law does not work for women?
That's a good question. But yeah, I will say, do I think the law doesn't work for women? I would say it's a 50-50 situation, yeah? Because on one hand, there have been convictions. There have been rape convictions, yeah? And if you go to Kenya law reports, people have been convicted for rape, honestly. But then it doesn't mean that the system is without its flaws, yeah? Now, this process where a victim goes to report, it's a long line. There's the prosecution, there's the police, there's the magistrates, and then there's finally, the prison system, right? So you are right in saying that sometimes it is the police who are actually barring the access to justice, yeah? Because a woman walks in and they tell you they've been raped, and then you start asking them, najuana aje? So he has been your boyfriend. No, we just spoke yesterday. No, you spoke yesterday, but he has been your boyfriend. Like, someone will literally make you question your judgment as a victim. And that is very true. I think right now some police stations have gender-based violence desks, yeah, which is a very good thing, again, from the government. There are gender-based violence desks, so that when you go there, you actually meet someone who probably has been trained, or in their minds, they're actually aware that this is a victim and they should be treated as such. So on one hand, sometimes it is very true. Sometimes the police can actually make you question the status as a victim. But at the same time, there's, again, effort that is being done thanks to civil society organizations that have come together to advocate for even that desk. Yeah. And recently, I think I saw on Twitter, there are people who are donating pads to those desks and everything just to make the situation for women better. So again, the other thing that is an issue is evidence is very key in law, very key. I can't just come say, this man has been abusing me. Like he has been, calling me names. He has been denying me financial aid. He has been raping me. Where's the evidence? Yeah. And you see, that is one part that we cannot bypass. We cannot bypass the need for evidence. So because law is just law and we cannot bypass the need for evidence. So number one, for me, I would say the judicial staff or the staff at the judiciary need to be informed about gender-based violence so that they're not the ones impeding justice by upholding a very high standard of proof when these are actually crimes that were committed in an intimate setup and you actually cannot prove them. So for me, progressively, and I think in future, probably the standard should be lowered for cases of rape or gender-based violence, yeah? The standard of proof. Because you see, as of now, when you accuse someone of something that, like rape, that is a criminal matter. And you see, the prosecution has to prove 100% that you raped this person. That standard is too high. It is too high. Sometimes you cannot even meet it. And especially when the rape happened maybe 1 year ago, 2 years ago, the standard is extremely high because you just can't tell. So for me, I will invite judicial officers to just be trained, make sure that they are trained and they're aware of gender-based violence matters. And at the same time, this 100% threshold will actually be costing some victims justice. And maybe it is time for us to revisit the threshold when it comes for criminal cases beyond reasonable doubt. Yeah, maybe it is time to lower that standard when it comes to gender-based violence matters, when it comes to matters relating to just rape or physical violence or any other such matters. So to answer your question, yes, there's a problem, but number two, steps are being made and steps that I personally recognize, but there's still room for us to do more.
This is a screenshot I made from a report that was done by saferspaces.org.za, and it is a guide for journalists and editors on how to report on gender-based violence. There could be several reasons why people still do opt not to go to the authorities. I mean, there could be distance to police stations, stigma and discrimination, language barriers, lack of trust in the police, or it could be cultural and religious barriers.
That also kind of makes me think about the cultural situation or the society situation, yeah. And sometimes we find that there's a problem, yes, maybe you were hit by your husband or something, and then you decide, okay, I'm running away, and you decide to go back to your parents' home, or you just seek some, like you go back home where this is where I can always go back to. And then you go there and they're like, no, go back. Go back to your home. This is what marriage is. It will not always be a honeymoon phase. So go through it, go handle your business, and go back to your own place. And it happens really. And I think this is also kind of encouraging this kind of violence. Because honestly, if my own family would take me back to a place where I'm feeling insecure or I'm feeling unhappy and they just tell me, you suck it up and go back. Do you think it is also a budding situation for this kind of violence to keep happening to women?
100%. It is something, like I think society, there's a way we have been conditioned to think. Yeah, I think we are conditioned to think that women can handle it. We can survive. We can do this. And that is not true. The first point I think I'd like to make is that as women, let us learn where our limits are. Like, where are your limits? Like, what is it that you can't take? Just don't take everything just because you're told, oh, marriage is hard, survive. You're being kicked, you're being abused, you're just surviving. Let us learn to have limits. Like, our whole existence does not revolve around society and men. Let us just change that, yeah? So number one, know your limits as a woman. Yeah, what is it that you can take? What is it that you can't take? Number two, and that is why I insisted on Sauti ya Mama having spreading a feminist agenda or just spreading a particular line of thought. We need to say it out loud. Gender-based violence is not okay. And the more we say it, the more I think people internalize it. So if you have a platform, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, anything, keep saying it until one day someone understands. And families, and even the issue of a family sending you back, honestly, sometimes it is also what they were taught to think. Sometimes they're not bad people who wish death on you. No, they don't want you to be beaten up every day. No, and even your mom, your dad, these are people who raised you. they literally value you, you know. They have also place of a woman is survival, is rudi ujikaze, it's pambana, and that is not true. So yeah, so in light of that, I guess us changing mindsets as a society, spreading the word that it is not okay for a woman to be beaten is very key. So in that situation again, it brings to mind the issue of financial freedom, which I'm sure you know about. Like the moment a woman is free financially, I'm telling you, I will not even go from my husband's house, my ex-husband's house, to to my parents' house. What I will do is I will get another house so that I can get my own freedom. I will rent my own house. I'll even carry my kids, take them there, take them to school. So it all comes down to financial freedom. The moment you're not free financially, I'm telling you, he will hit you, he will hit you. You'll be oozing with blood and you'll still be begging to stay. Why? Because there's nowhere you're going. There's nowhere you're going, and it's a fact, you know. And sometimes men actually use this to leverage this against women. Like they just know there's nowhere you're going because you don't have money, and then they'll just keep doing it to you because what else will you do? Yeah. So I think it all comes down to knowing your limits as a woman, changing mindsets, and financial freedom. Yeah.
I think you've already mentioned reasons why you think most people kind of stay. So since we've already touched on that, but I don't think we've exhausted them. But
Yeah.
there's also the thing about, you know, like you can't come between two people at the end of the day. So you find people, and you know, like somebody is hit or somebody has a very toxic boyfriend, even not even husband. Somebody is hit or somebody has a very toxic boyfriend, even not even husband, and they'll always go back somehow. They will always find a way to stay, or they will always be like, you know what, this is ride or die for me. But is ride or die really worth it if you're suffering? You know, like not only physically sometimes, but just mentally. Somebody's always holding you back in terms of abuse and stuff, in terms of always putting you down as a person and making you feel worthless, and you're still there like staying on, saying that this is the guy for me no matter what. Is it like a psychological thing that makes these women believe that, or we women basically believe that, oh, if I leave, will I get another person? Like, can I not do better? What keeps us staying? What holds you back from these kinds of toxicity and bad relationships, apart from financial freedom and stuff? Because you'll find even sometimes very independent women who are doing well still staying. Is it because they feel inadequate in another sense, that they're doing well, maybe, yeah, in this other world of being independent, kicking us out there, and, you know, making their money, getting their cash, and even getting promotions and stuff, but still somehow they're held back by this kind of relationships. Why does this happen?
So I think for me, I'll speak for myself and why I stayed in a relationship that wasn't healthy for me. Honestly, it's an issue of convenience. You see, at the end of the day, Jasmine, it feels good to be with a man. Like, let's just agree on that. Single life is just not cute. It's not pretty. It's not sexy. Like, I personally, I don't know. Like, I don't like it. Like, it feels good, like on a weekend like this, instead of just being in the house, you know, sleeping, watching movies, reading more books. Don't you think it is nice to be with a man? Like, honestly, you know, even just removing the feminist scarf, you know, just not being a lawyer, not being a feminist, doesn't it feel good to be with a man? That's just the first question. So you see, sometimes he'll even say things to you, call you names, really bad names, like very bad. But then the anger will die down. And then you broke up with him yesterday, and then now it's the weekend, and then you're like, now what do I do with my time? You know? And then now you start just going back. Not because anyone is forcing you, no one is dragging you back, you're going back yourself. So which takes me to another point. It is very important, number one, to heal. Like, just heal from past traumas. Because I feel like that is what sometimes makes us not even be able to be alone. Like if all the time I'm alone, I'm not thinking of getting a swimming class, a driving class. I'm not thinking of building my portfolio in another area. I'm only thinking of who can I go out with next? Should I go back to him? No, I'm so lonely. So loneliness is something that comes up a lot. And even for me, yeah, let me not speak of a fictitious woman out there, even for me. So sometimes I think it's just good to go back to the drawing board as women and ask yourself, who are you? What can you do to improve yourself? What can you do to better yourself apart from going back to a man? And you see, every time you go back to him after he abused you, it's sort of gives him permission. Like, you know what, you can just do it again and she'll come back. Why? Because she can't even live with herself. You see what I'm saying? So I think mental health for women is very important. If you can see a counselor, like see someone who can actually help you get through it, learn to have alone time. Yeah. Because sometimes, like you said, it's not even a financial issue. It's just, I just want a man to be around me. But is it healthy for you to always keep wanting a man every day? Like, you literally can't pass a day. This guy hits you, tomorrow you're back. Hey, do you mind coming over? Like, and then it's also teaching him that whatever he does, you won't do anything. You'll just stay and then discover, hey, now I can't even live without a man, come back. So I think it's about even us women and our relationships with ourselves. Yeah. Can we heal internally? Can we learn to be alone? Can we learn to do things that actually add value to us as opposed to just every day running to a man, running to a man?
Exactly, which also brings me to the point that we think that peer pressure is only there when we are peers or when we are younger. At the same time, I think it keeps going, never ending trend, to be honest, because my other girls also have boyfriends, or my other girls also have guys, that they're with. And this kind of mentality is also something which is making people stay in relationships which they're really unhappy in, which is sad because I mean, at the end of the day, you're the one who's staying with this person, you're the one who's suffering mentally with this person. It's not your friends, it's not, maybe they are happy in their relationships, but you don't have to be in a relationship just because you have to be in a relationship. Let it be something that is also building you. Like you said, it's satisfied with your own self. So what else does this other relationship bring into your life? So if it's not something that is positive, then I don't think it's worth it. But then let's get into a more complicated situation. Let's leave the girlfriend boyfriend one. Let's get into the more complicated world of married couples or couples with children. And most of the time you hear these women who are being abused, they will mostly say, I can't leave because of my kids, or I'm not going because of my kids. I have to stay because of our kids, which I also understand, because at the end of the day, no parent would want to raise a child single-handedly, leave alone the financial burden this would cause, but also because they don't want their children growing up with just one parent, because it's also a lot of questions for the kids, and it may also in future cause a lot of damage or a lot of issues for the kids. But at the same time, if this woman is a punching bag, so to say, for lack of a better word, why doesn't she just pick up, pack up, and leave? Even if it means the kids are gonna stay with the husband, it doesn't really matter, as long as he's a good father. He may not necessarily be a good man to her, but he may be a good father. Or she may take the kids with him, with her. And maybe she might also get financial support. I mean, we have law courts. I don't know how well they work. I don't know how our systems in Kenya are. I don't know how much they favor them. But at the same time, I'm thinking, why do women then tend to stay in a relationship and say it is for the kids? I know how difficult this is, and I'm not a parent. I'm not speaking for women as a married woman, because I am not, and I wouldn't want to insinuate that I know much more than they do, because I know at the end of the day, it is again these two people, their relationship, whatever is happening between them, and they have kids involved. But why do they stay? And if they do stay, or if they do decide to leave, if it's, for example, the financial issues that they're complaining about or is holding them back, what organizations are out there, or what other things can they do so that they can ensure that their kids have a good life, or they themselves can also manage to live a good life despite leaving these people who are harming them. I know that this is was a very loaded question, but you can debunk it however you want.
Yeah.
And I will just take whatever I get from that.
Exactly. So I think number one is, I'll just start by admitting being in a married setup is very hard if you want to live, yeah? Because number one, there's so many people involved. There's the other family, there's you. So you almost cannot just wake up one day and decide, hey, bye, me, I'm gone. Like it's not like a relationship where you just wake up and go. So I'll acknowledge that. But then it goes back to what I told you before, Jasmine. What are your limits as a woman? What is it that you just can't take? You need to decide that, because at the end of the day, you just need to find out what is more important to you. Is it your mental health, or is it the comfort and probably the peace between these two families? And for me, this is the part where I will, just invite women to choose themselves. Like, choose yourself. Like, there's no award for choosing other people, not even your husband. There's no award. Like, there's nothing you get out of pleasing society, pleasing the whole world, and then losing yourself in the process. If it's your reputation, where will you get that? Where will you take that reputation? What do you do with the reputation? Yet you're at the point of almost committing a suicide. You see. So for me, I would just encourage women, choose yourself. Always choose yourself, and especially where the financial bit of things is not an issue. Just choose yourself. If you can, walk away, but know what your limits are, and always remember, in every equation, you are what matters. If you die, the equation does not exist. Yeah. So always choose yourself as a woman. Then number two, I will say again, culture and what we have been trained to think. We have been trained to think that women who leave marriages are bad. You never hear someone say, "Oh, this man separated with the wife. He's such a bad man," or he's so immoral, or he can't even stand a woman. It is always the woman who's being told, "Why did you leave him?" It's almost like we are the ones who always initiate breakups, even when we are not. So it's a cultural thing. So I will say again, let us change our mindsets. Women can live at any age and lead a very successful life. Yeah. And if you watch the real Jeannie Mai is an example of that. And so many other women who have walked away of abusive marriages. And it's not that it's the end. Even at 40, you can find love. At 50, you can find love. Like it's not like if you leave, no one else will love you. That is a lie. That is a lie. And yeah, that's cultural mentality is, yeah, it's just not good. And then the other thing I will say is legal access to legal services for women. You see, if you want to get divorced and you are married, it is actually a costly process, by the way, especially if there are papers involved. You have signed papers that I'm married to this person. You see, like you said, it's not a girlfriend-boyfriend issues. So also there's need for legal services available to women for divorce. And I know organizations that currently do that. There's Center for Rights Education Awareness, that is CREW, located in Kibera and Adams. They do that. They help women actually get out of these situations. Because you see, sometimes you're telling a woman, go, just go. But you see, you just can't go because the law recognizes you as a married couple. So you just can't leave. Which brings us to the issue of access to justice for women, access to legal services, access to pro bono justice. Yeah. Let us have more people coming out to represent these women. Yeah. So that they're able to live such relationships. Yeah. Like I told you, it is very costly to live a marriage. It is costly even financially to live a marriage. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe if I think of something else, and again, just reiterating what you said on financial freedom, have your financial freedom so that the day you want to go out, you just move out. And then I think I remember you asked about how women can raise money. Yeah. Because you literally don't have any. Number one, I'll tell you, the online space has really revolutionized what it means to have a business. It has revolutionized what it means to earn an income. So number one, online businesses. Like even if, like I'm sure you've seen thrift stores online. People just selling mtumba, but they just take a really nice picture of it, create passive vizuri, a little bit of perfume, brand. And remember, this is Instagram. All you need is bundles, like literally bundles, and maybe a little bit of startup capital to begin that business. Even if it's just mtumba, even if it's selling products, hair products, braids, nini. And if you have a skill, apart from just the online one, if you have a skill, capitalize on that skill. Don't just say, me, the only thing I know is how to plait matuta, so I'll just die poor because I only know how to plait matuta. There's someone out there who wants those matutas done. Someone out there wants their hair made. Use whatever skill, value your skills. That's what I keep telling people. Value your skills. If you can write and just figure out a way of making money out of it. So number one, take advantage of the online space. Number two, whatever skill you have, capitalize on it. If you can make nice githeri, you can make nice viazi, why don't you start selling even just in your neighborhood? If you can make nice cakes, do that. And then, yeah, it really helps you. And Jasmine, it just reminds me of a situation where I had a woman who I wanted her to do some work for me, some housework, washing clothes and everything. Then one day she just quit. So I was talking to her and I was asking her, why are you quitting? And do you know what she told me? She told me because the husband has barred her from doing any economic activity at all. Like sometimes these people have skills, they have the online platforms, but they still can't because this man, according to her, the man kept asking her, kwani unaona siwezi kupea pesa? Like, don't you think I can give you money? Don't you think I can take care of you? And this is a man who was not providing. In fact, like this man was not providing. And the only reason why this woman was actually, walking around the plot asking for who wants their clothes washed is because the son was going hungry for a couple of days. Like even if he was eating, it's just maybe milk or just some of these little things. So again, Jasmine, we have to be alive to the fact that some men actually, because of ego and patriarchy and just a messed up way of thinking, prevent their women from participating in economic activity. So you'll have a man who he'll come home and then find the oven is, it looks like someone made cakes there, and you'll be like, hizo keki ziko wapi? Unatembea unaenda kwa wanaume, and the excuse will always be like you're going to search for more men, when sometimes that is not true. And again, I will go back to my initial point. Know your limits as a woman. If this man will not provide for you, but still will not let you work, what are you doing there? You clearly have a skill, you clearly can walk away, but somehow, what are your limits? That is the other question that I think women should ask themselves. So I don't know if I answered your question or
Yeah, I think mostly you have just the point about you answered my last question in one way. But then again, are there organizations out there that maybe you're also aware of, maybe that you've come across or in your research that help these women to get out of it, which you've already mentioned this part, but then to kind of settle or something? Do they like help them out a bit or stand through these bad divorces with them? Not just the info part, but I mean in terms of my family won't take me, so I have to start somewhere. But then there's I need help. So where can I go? Do we have such organizations that you know of in Kenya, for example, or that you've heard of maybe that could help these women if they actually decide a way out?
For now, Jasmine, the only organization that I know of is the one I just mentioned, that is CREW, Center for Rights, Education and Awareness, that is CREW. Last time I had an interaction with them, yes, they can only do divorce, they can only do the legal bit of it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I have the information right, but the last time I checked, they only represent you in terms of matters divorce. But in terms of actually housing you, no, I don't think they do that. But then I have heard of sexual gender-based violence safe houses that the government has been trying to implement. In the recent times, there are actually some county governments that have established gender-based violence safe houses for women Yeah, and I'm not sure of the counties, but they exist in Kenya. I think I saw one in Bungoma. Yeah, in Bungoma there is one, a safe house for women who have been victims of violence. I don't know how they transition from having you in the facility to releasing you back to community, or how you proceed. But then in Bungoma I saw one. We can also check for Makueni. They have progressive county laws dealing with sexual and gender-based violence. Yeah, so it's like I said before, Jasmine, the government is actually doing something, yeah, with a push from civil society. There have been some efforts, and I'm sure with a little bit more research, there are also other privately owned safe houses that don't belong to the government. Yeah, but yes, they exist.